In the vast ocean of cinema, we often navigate by the flickering constellations of blockbusters and the familiar glow of established franchises. But beneath this glittering surface lie hidden currents, carrying cinematic treasures waiting to be discovered. These are the films that may have slipped under the radar, yet possess the power to surprise, inspire, and linger in your mind long after the credits have rolled. Today, we're diving deep into those currents, pulling one of these extraordinary hidden gems into the spotlight. Our selection is a film that is less a story and more a waking dream. A visual feast so opulent it feels painted directly onto the screen. It's a testament to the idea that cinema can be pure art, a labor of love that sacrifices convention for breathtaking beauty. We're talking about Tarsem Singh's 2006 masterpiece, The Fall. This is not just a movie you watch, it's a world you inhabit. A story that unfolds with the unpredictable logic of a fairy tale whispered from a hospital bed. So, prepare to journey with us into a world born from desperation and imagination, as we explore the story, the souls, and the staggering secrets behind The Fall. Our story begins not in a fantastical kingdom, but within the sterile, sun-drenched walls of a Los Angeles hospital in the 1920s. Here we meet Roy Walker, a Hollywood stuntman who has been left paralyzed after a disastrous on-set accident. Bedridden and heartbroken over a lost love, Roy has lost his will to live. His world is one of quiet despair, until a small, curious force of nature wanders into his life. A 5-year-old immigrant girl named Alexandria, who was recovering from a broken arm. To pass the time and to win her trust, Roy begins to spin a tale, an epic fantasy of 5 mythic heroes on a quest for revenge against the wicked Governor Odious. There's a masked bandit, an Italian explosives expert, an Indian mystic, a naturalist inspired by Charles Darwin, and an escaped African slave. As Roy narrates, the film transports us into this vibrant, surreal world. But this is no ordinary story. The fantasy world is a direct reflection of the hospital, with its characters taking the form of people Alexandria knows. The friendly ice delivery man becomes the Indian mystic. The orderly becomes the escaped slave, and the beautiful nurse becomes the princess. The story becomes a powerful, symbiotic bond between the two. For Alexandria, it is a magnificent escape, a world more real and exciting than her own. For Roy, however, the story has a darker purpose. He uses the narrative to manipulate the innocent Alexandria, promising her thrilling new chapters in exchange for stolen morphine pills from the hospital dispensary, which he plans to use to end his own life. This creates a harrowing tension that underpins the entire film. As Roy's physical and mental state deteriorates, his story grows darker and more chaotic. The vibrant heroes begin to face tragedy, and the line between the storyteller's pain and the story's plot blurs completely. Alexandria, sensing the danger to her beloved characters, begins to interject her own innocence and hope into the narrative, fighting to save them. The film's climax is a powerful collision of two worlds, the grim reality of the hospital and the fantastical consequences of Roy's storytelling, leading to a conclusion that is at once heartbreaking and profoundly life-affirming. At the heart of The Fall are two characters whose bond is one of the most unique and moving in modern cinema. First, there is Roy Walker, portrayed with raw, devastating vulnerability by Lee Pace. Roy is the broken storyteller. He is cynical, manipulative, and consumed by a grief so profound it has extinguished his desire to live. Yet, through the act of storytelling, we see flickers of the man he once was, charming, imaginative, and capable of creating boundless beauty. His fantasy world is an extension of his own fractured ego, a place where he can be a hero, the masked bandit, fighting an injustice that mirrors his own romantic betrayal. Roy's journey is a descent into darkness, but it is Alexandria who becomes his unwilling and unwitting guide, her simple presence forcing him to confront the consequences of his despair. He is a complex protagonist, one you may not always like, but whose pain is undeniably, tragically human. Then there is Alexandria, the film's radiant, beating heart. Played by the astonishingly natural Katinka Untaru, Alexandria is not just a passive listener. She is an active co-creator of the story. Her innocence and her misinterpretations of Roy's English shape the fantasy world in whimsical and unpredictable ways. When Roy describes the Indian's wigwam, she pictures a structure that looks like the Taj Mahal, because that's the only Indian architecture she knows from a picture. Her imagination is a pure, powerful force that constantly pushes back against Roy's growing cynicism. She is fiercely protective of the story's heroes because, to her, they are real. It is through her eyes that we experience the wonder of the tale, and it is her unwavering empathy that ultimately becomes the catalyst for change. The dynamic between Roy and Alexandria is the film's core engine, a fragile, desperate man and a resilient, hopeful child, bound together by a story that will either destroy them both or, just maybe, save one of them. Now, let's pull back the curtain on this cinematic marvel and uncover 5 fascinating facts that reveal the sheer passion and audacity behind its creation. First, the film's breathtaking visuals were achieved almost entirely without computer-generated imagery. Director Tarsem Singh insisted on using real-world locations, taking his crew on a globe-spanning journey over 4 years. They filmed in over 28 locations across 18 different countries, from the towering sand dunes of Namibia to the vibrant stepwells of India and the surreal butterfly-shaped rock formations in Turkey. What you see on screen is not digital trickery, but the real, jaw-dropping beauty of our world, captured through a master filmmaker's lens. Second, the incredible on-screen chemistry between Roy and Alexandria was born from a unique and ethically questionable acting method. For much of the filming, the young Katinka Untaru was led to believe that actor Lee Pace was genuinely paralyzed. The crew and Pace maintained this illusion to elicit a more authentic and empathetic performance from the child actress. Her reactions of concern, her gentle care, and her frustration with his condition were all real. The scenes in the hospital bed were often the very first things they filmed each day, capturing their dynamic with raw, unscripted honesty. Third, this monumental film was a true passion project, largely self-funded by the director himself. Tarsem Singh spent years accumulating the money to make the film exactly as he envisioned it, without studio interference. This independence allowed him creative freedom, but also meant the production was a massive personal and financial risk. It is a rare example of a director betting everything on a singular, uncompromising artistic vision, treating the film not as a product, but as a personal masterpiece. Fourth, while it feels wholly original, The Fall is actually a loose reimagining of a 1981 Bulgarian film titled Yo Ho Ho. The original film shares the core premise of a paralyzed man in a hospital telling a fantastical story to a young child to manipulate him. However, Tarsem Singh took this foundational concept and expanded it into a visual epic, transforming the contained drama of the original into the sprawling, vibrant fantasy that The Fall became. Finally, the film's script was intentionally kept loose to encourage improvisation, especially in the scenes between Lee Pace and Katinka Untaru. Many of Alexandria's charmingly innocent lines and reactions were completely unscripted. The director would often just let the camera roll and capture their natural interactions. This approach is what gives their relationship such a powerful sense of authenticity, making the audience feel as though they are eavesdropping on real, private moments between two lonely souls who have found an unlikely connection. Despite its visual splendor and critical acclaim from reviewers like Roger Ebert, who called it a flight of audacious, unaccountable, magical fancy, The Fall was a commercial failure upon its release. It struggled to find an audience in a market saturated with more conventional blockbusters. However, its legacy was not written in box office receipts, but in the hearts of those who discovered it. Over the years, The Fall has blossomed into a beloved cult classic, celebrated for its bold originality and unparalleled visual artistry. It has become a touchstone for aspiring filmmakers and artists, a shining example of what is possible when cinema is treated as a canvas rather than a commodity. Its influence can be seen in music videos, fashion photography, and films that prioritize practical effects and stunning cinematography over digital spectacle. The film stands as a defiant statement that some stories are worth telling no matter the cost, and that true cinematic magic doesn't come from a computer, but from the boundless depths of human imagination and the breathtaking beauty of the world around us. The Fall remains a testament to the power of storytelling, not only within its narrative, but in the very story of its own creation. And now, it's your turn to join the conversation. We've journeyed through the dreamscape of The Fall, exploring its heartbreaking story, its unforgettable characters, and the incredible true stories behind its creation. We want to know what resonated most with you. Of the two central characters, who did you connect with more? Was it Roy, the broken storyteller, using fantasy as both a weapon and a shield? Or was it Alexandria, the innocent child whose imagination was powerful enough to rewrite his tragic tale? Perhaps it was one of the behind-the-scenes facts that truly amazed you. Was it the director's dedication to filming in real locations, or the startling method used to capture such an authentic performance from a child? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Tell us which character or which fact you found most compelling and why. There are no wrong answers, and we love seeing the different perspectives from this community. Your insights make these discussions so much richer. We can't wait to read what you have to say.